Guys, welcome to a classic movie review of 1941's The Maltese Falcon, the film noir masterpiece starring Humphrey Bogart, Mary Astor and Peter Lorre. A stunning debut from director John Huston. This is the Dashiell Hammett penned hard-boiled tale of a San Francisco private detective, Sam Spade, who takes on a case that involves the murder of his partner, a local crime boss, a slippery but gorgeous femme fatale, and a jewel-encrusted golden statue of a falcon. The Maltese Falcon is often considered one of the best examples of the film noir genre, and its influence on Hollywood and detective films and TV shows is undeniable. Now, it features perhaps not the greatest performance by Humphrey Bogart, but certainly his most iconic, a screenplay that crackles with tough guy talk and enough twists to keep you guessing right till the end and beyond. This is the dictionary definition of a classic film, that it starts out with a missing sister, it merges into a murder, and ultimately a stolen statuette that will make everyone rich. Or will it? Let's take a look.
You mean the one you couldn't get to count? This is the second time that you have laid hands on me.
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
So the Maltese Falcon, as monolithic as it has become over the decades, is actually a remake of a 1931 version directed by Roy Del Ruth. Both movies, of course, adapted from American author Dashiell Hammett's 1930 novel. There was also a 1936 version titled Satan Met a Lady, but that was played more as a comedy, apparently. I've not seen either 30s versions yet, but they're certainly on my radar. But anyway, here in San Francisco, our story centres on private detective Sam Spade, played by Humphrey Bogart, who gets involved with a mysterious woman, Ruth Wunderly, played by Mary Astor. She hires him and his partner Miles Archer, played by Jerome Cowan, to follow a man named Floyd Thursby. Now, Ruth claims that Thursby has kidnapped her sister and she wants Spade to find them. However, things take a twisty and dangerous turn when Archer is murdered and Spade quickly finds himself caught in the web of deception. Now, he's soon drawn into a chase for the fabled Maltese Falcon, a statue that's been lost for centuries and is said to be worth a fortune. You see, it's not long before Spade must navigate a series of shady characters: the ruthless Caspar Gutman, played by Sydney Greenstreet, the treacherous Joel Cairo, an excellent Peter Lorre, and discovers that Ruth Wunderly, who hired him, is actually Bridget O'Shaughnessy, a serial liar whose true motives are more difficult to pin down than the plot of this movie.
I haven't lived a good life. I've been bad. Worse than you could know.
Yeah, that's good, because if you actually were as innocent as you pretend to be, we'd never get anywhere.
So yeah, everyone around him will stop at nothing, or so it seems, to get their dirty hands on the titular Falcon, and even Spade himself isn't adverse to some underhand tactics in order to get to the bottom of everything. His own ethics and moral code almost as slippery as the villains. Now, in 1941, when this arrived, there had, of course, been many a film noir released, certainly if you include some of the 30s gangster movies like The Public Enemy and Little Caesar. But I think it was the Maltese Falcon that truly laid the foundations of the slew of detective movies that would arrive in the 40s. Here, you're not rooting for the gangster in the case of those Cagney movies. There's a private eye to root for, even if he is a kind of smarmy lowlife himself, a guy who spends the movie trying to clear his name in relation to two murders. Now, the role of Sam Spade is up there with Humphrey Bogart's most famous performances. Arguably, Casablanca is the one people may think of first when they hear his name, but he carves out a performance here that people will be almost subconsciously familiar with and may even do impressions of when they discuss classic private eye movies in general. Such is its place in pop culture.
Miles hadn't many brains, but he'd had too many years' experience as a detective to be caught like that by a man he was shadowing up a blind alley with his gun in his hip and his overcoat buttoned. But he'd have gone up there with you, Angel. He was just dumb enough for that.
Now, prior to this movie, Bogart had built a reputation for playing supporting roles or had starred as tough guys or criminals. His portrayal of Spade is all snarling cynicism. We'd call him an anti-hero these days, but it's only really his charm and his sense of honour that makes him different from the crooks that he's after. I mean, that's what makes a film noir, isn't it? All the characters here are driven by their own personal agendas, not to mention greed, lust and power. No one is entirely good or bad, and the lines between right and wrong are often blurred, etc, etc. Now, Bogart's scenes with Mary Astor's femme fatale, where he almost can't keep a straight face as she feeds him a pack of lies, are some of the sharpest moments in the script. Now, Astor, of course, is that classic noir archetype, a beautiful, manipulative woman who tries to pull the wool over everyone's eyes. Now, watching her attempt to cross, double cross, and then throw in a triple cross is one of the film's treats. As the story progresses, it becomes clear that her character, Bridget, is a woman with her own motives, she too driven by a desire to possess the Falcon. Now, of course, Bogart and Astor dominate the film, but the Maltese Falcon also boasts standout turns from its supporting cast, particularly Sydney Greenstreet and Peter Lorre. Greenstreet, crazily enough, is in his film debut here. Anyway, he plays a villainous Casper Gutman, a man obsessed with the Falcon and seemingly willing to go to any lengths to acquire it. Now, both plot-wise and physically, Greenstreet is a larger-than-life presence with his booming voice and calculated movements. He seems almost bumbling at times, but has that viciousness lurking not far below the surface. Now, my personal favourite character here is Peter Lorre as Joel Cairo. He has a nervous energy to him and bounces between feeble victim and snake-like villain, depending on how sticky his situation is.
May I please have my gun now?
Oh, sure. I'd forgotten all about it.
You will please clasp your hands together at the back of your neck. I intend to search your offices.
So yeah, after some screenwriting credit, this was John Huston's directorial debut, which surely has to be up there with some of the greatest film debuts of all time. He adapted the screenplay himself, ensures that the film's pacing never falters. Now 1 hour and 40 minutes here just zips by. The plot moves with a deliberate sense of tension. The movie's got that moody film noir vibe, and the film seems to get more claustrophobic as the plot progresses, culminating in everyone coming together in a finale that brings to light a complex web of lies as well as a sucker punch reveal that punishes the bad guy's greed. Now, spawning an entire subgenre of imitators, the Maltese Falcon's impact on the film noir genre can't be overstated. Its direction is sharp and simple. Its screenplay is a masterclass in hard-boiled dialogue, and there's not really a bum note in the cast. Authors, screenwriters and filmmakers have been pinching from it, even after more than 80 years. Now, as a work of cinema, it's hard sometimes to put your finger on why it's so great, but one of its acts of genius comes in how deftly that it navigates the behaviours of its characters. The romance, if you can call it that, between Bogart and Astor is so fragile that you're not sure which one's going to turn on the other first, and the payoff to it somehow both satisfies and disturbs in equal measure. Now, both Bogart and Huston's career would never be the same. They'd end up making 6 movies together, including The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, The African Queen, what else? Key Largo, Across the Pacific. This was one of Bogart's personal favourites of his own movies and remains one of the quintessential films of the 1940s. Go check it out.
Don't brag about it. Was there any truth at all in that yarn?
Some. Not very much.